Welcome to Numismatics Hub, your ultimate destination for fascinating stories, rare coin discoveries, and all things numismatics. Join us as we explore the world of currency and uncover hidden treasures one coin at a time. The 1984 USA 1-cent penny, a coin that you might overlook in your change jar or the bottom of your pocket, holds a fascinating story. To the untrained eye, it seems like just another small piece of copper, yet beneath its humble exterior lies a tale that stretches back centuries, one that touches on history, design, economics, and, perhaps most surprising of all, extraordinary value. Stick around to find out why this penny could be worth $163,000 today. Let's start at the very beginning with a little context about the penny itself. The 1-cent coin, or penny, has been a staple of American currency since its creation in 1793, but over the years its design and composition have gone through numerous transformations. By the time we reach 1984, the penny had evolved into a coin made primarily of copper-plated zinc, a far cry from its earlier counterparts made of pure copper or even a mix of other metals. The 1984 penny is part of the Lincoln series, which had been in circulation since 1909. This long-standing tradition was introduced to honor the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This coin, with Lincoln's profile facing right, is one of the most enduring symbols of American currency. However, when we look at the 1984 version of the penny, we see more than just a simple image of Lincoln. It's a snapshot of a particular moment in time, reflecting both the period's economic situation and the shifting trends in coinage. But before we dive into the specific details of the 1984 penny, let's talk about the significance of its design. In 1909, to mark the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint decided to release a new design for the penny, and it was nothing short of groundbreaking. Designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, it featured a detailed bust of Lincoln on the obverse, the front of the coin, which at the time was a departure from the usual Liberty design that graced U.S. coins. The reverse of the coin depicted two wheat stalks, symbolizing the country's agricultural roots. This design remained in place until 1959, when the Mint changed the reverse to a depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of the nation's reverence for Lincoln. In 1984. The penny still bore the classic obverse design of Abraham Lincoln, though the reverse had been changed decades earlier to the Lincoln Memorial. The 1984 penny's design was part of a much larger conversation about the U.S. economy. At the time, the United States was facing inflationary pressures and the value of the penny was dwindling. The Mint continued to produce large numbers of pennies, even as the cost of production for these coins surpassed their actual face value. Fast forward to 1984, and the U.S. Mint produced an astonishing 7.1 billion pennies. This massive number of pennies was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and while they all appear relatively similar at first glance, there are subtle details that distinguish one from the other. The 1984 penny has been released in two major varieties: the regular business strike, which is the version most of us see in our pocket change, and the proof version, which was minted specifically for collectors. Proof coins are struck with more care, using specially polished dies, resulting in a much higher quality finish. These proof coins were primarily sold in sets and are generally rarer than their business strike counterparts. But why, you may wonder, is the 1984 penny worth anything more than just 1 cent? After all, it's been in circulation for decades. While most pennies you find will only be worth face value or a little more, a select few have become extremely valuable due to errors or unique characteristics. Now let's talk about the coins that have caught the eye of collectors and investors alike. A particular error in the 1984 penny series has caused quite a stir in numismatic circles. The 1984 double die obverse is one of the most famous varieties among collectors. A double die occurs when a coin is struck more than once by the same die, causing the image on the coin to appear doubled. In the case of the 1984 penny, this error was most notable on Lincoln's image, where the doubling was particularly prominent on the date and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These double-die pennies were created when the dies used to strike the coins misaligned during the production process, resulting in the doubled images. While most of these errors were caught and corrected by the Mint, some of them slipped through the cracks, making them highly desirable to collectors. And of course, the rarer the error, the higher the value, but it's not just about the double die. Over the years, collectors have become more and more interested in coins that have unique characteristics, whether that's because of an error, a rare variation, or simply the condition of the coin. A coin that has been well preserved can often fetch far more than its face value. Coins in uncirculated or mint state condition, meaning they show little to no signs of wear, can be worth a great deal more, especially when it comes to certain years or specific varieties. In fact, a well-maintained 1984 penny in near mint condition can be worth significantly more than the pennies you see daily in circulation. However, the real prize lies in those few pennies that have truly rare errors or have been preserved in exceptional condition. One of the most striking examples of this is a 1984 penny that, in recent years, has been sold for an eye-popping $163,000. That's right, a single penny, once thought to be just another coin in circulation, fetched a staggering amount of money due to a combination of factors. This specific penny, a 1984 double die obverse, stood out from the rest because it was in perfect condition and had an incredibly pronounced doubling on Lincoln's portrait and the inscriptions. The buyer of this rare coin was willing to pay such an extraordinary price because rare coins like this one are not only valuable due to their scarcity but also because of the historical and numismatic significance they hold. Coins like this one serve as a snapshot of a particular time in history, and for collectors, owning such a piece is about more than just the monetary value, it's about preserving a piece of the past. The price of this 1984 penny isn't just a fluke. As more and more collectors become aware of the potential value of certain coins, the demand for rare and unique varieties has skyrocketed. What was once seen as a simple penny, easily discarded and forgotten, has become a symbol of rarity and fortune in the world of coin collecting. The market for rare coins continues to grow, and while the 1984 penny is just one example, it's a perfect illustration of how even the most unassuming objects can hold immense value when the right conditions align. So, what makes the 1984 penny so special? It's not just about the design or the metal it's made from, it's about the story it tells. The story of a nation's history, the story of minting errors, and the story of a collector's pursuit of the perfect coin. The 1984 penny might not look like much, but if you happen to find one of those elusive double die obverse coins in your pocket change, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand. So next time you receive a handful of pennies, take a closer look. You never know, the penny you think is worth a mere cent could actually be worth far more. It's a reminder that value isn't always what it seems, and sometimes the most unexpected treasures can be found in the most ordinary places. As we wrap up, let's remember the importance of paying attention to the small details. Whether it's in coin collecting or in life, the 1984 penny, with all its history and potential, is proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest value. And now we've come full circle with the big reveal that 1984 penny, once a simple part of our everyday currency, has sold for a staggering $163,000. So what do you think? Have you checked your pocket change recently? You might just be holding onto a piece of history and a small fortune without even realizing it. Keep an eye out for those rare finds, and who knows, you could be the next lucky collector to uncover a priceless treasure. The remarkable world of coin collecting, it's essential to understand just how significant the discovery of such a rare and valuable penny can be. The 1984 double die obverse penny isn't just a lucky find for one individual, it's part of a much larger landscape of coin collecting that has become increasingly sophisticated and lucrative. In recent years, more and more people have realized that even the most seemingly insignificant coins can carry a hefty price tag. And this is not just about the 1984 penny, it's a trend that stretches across numerous years and coin types. In fact, the field of numismatics, coin collecting, has exploded in popularity. As more and more collectors scour the marketplace, attend coin shows, and engage in online auctions, they've uncovered hidden gems from past minting years that can fetch astronomical sums. Some of these coins are highly sought after for their rarity, while others are valued because of their historical significance or specific minting errors. In the case of the 1984 penny, it's that famous double die error, but for other years, there might be different types of minting mistakes or design anomalies that make certain coins extremely valuable. For example, other coins from the 1980s have similarly drawn attention from collectors due to the presence of certain minting errors. It's not uncommon for there to be double strikes, off-center strikes, or die cracks that make a coin stand out from the rest. These errors happen when the coin dies, which are used to imprint the design onto the blank coin, are improperly aligned or damaged during the minting process. The result? A coin that looks slightly different from the rest and thus more desirable to collectors. One of the unique aspects of the 1984 penny and other such coins is that it's not just about rarity. Coin collectors are also looking for pieces with exceptional visual appeal, coins that are in pristine condition. The grade of a coin is incredibly important in determining its value. A coin's grade is determined by its physical condition, with higher grades indicating little to no wear. When it comes to a coin like the 1984 penny, collectors are looking for one that hasn't been heavily circulated, as the wear and tear of time can significantly diminish a coin's value. Coins are graded on a scale known as the Sheldon scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, with 70 being the highest grade a coin can achieve. A coin in the highest grade, referred to as MS-70 or PR-70 for proof coins, is considered flawless. This is the holy grail of coin collecting, and it's the condition of these rare, perfectly preserved coins that can propel their value into the stratosphere. For the 1984 double-die penny to be valued at $163,000, it would have had to be in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, with the doubling of Lincoln's image and inscriptions clearly visible. In fact, the higher the grade, the more a collector is willing to pay to own that piece of history. Another factor that contributes to the penny's immense value is the importance of provenance. Provenance refers to the history of ownership of a coin. In the world of high-end coin collecting, having a well-documented and respected provenance can significantly increase a coin's worth. If a coin has passed through the hands of notable collectors, or if it has been featured in a prestigious auction, it is more likely to fetch a higher price. The 1984 penny in question, for example, was carefully preserved and maintained, which ensured its survival in top-notch condition. As more collectors become aware of the potential value of certain coins, the prices for these rare pieces continue to rise, especially when they are part of a highly collectible series or have an exceptional story behind them. It's this combination of rarity, condition, and history that makes the 1984 penny worth so much more than its face value. Let's also take a moment to talk about the increasing role of technology in the world of coin collecting. With the rise of the internet, collectors have unprecedented access to coins from around the world. Online marketplaces and auction sites such as eBay, Heritage Auctions, and others have made it easier for collectors to find and purchase rare coins. Additionally, digital tools and databases help collectors identify valuable coins, track trends, and stay informed about the latest discoveries in the numismatic world. For those new to coin collecting, the 1984 penny may seem like an outlier. After all, a penny is usually just worth a penny. However, what we've learned through this journey is that the coin world is filled with surprises, and even the most common coins can have an unexpected value. Whether it's a minting error or a rare variation, collectors are always on the lookout for these diamonds in the rough. As we continue our exploration of the 1984 penny, we also need to understand the broader economic context in which these coins were produced. The 1980s was a pivotal time in American history, marked by significant economic challenges, including high inflation rates and rising production costs for coins. The cost of making pennies, for example, began to exceed their actual face value. By the time we get to the 1984 penny, the U.S. Mint was already starting to consider changes in coin composition and production methods. For many, the 1984 penny serves as a symbol of a specific period in American economic history, a time when the country was grappling with inflation and figuring out how to keep the cost of coin production manageable. The Mint would eventually move away from using pure copper in pennies and shift to a copper-plated zinc design, which is what we see in modern-day pennies. But the 1984 penny, with its slightly older composition and design, represents a transitional period in American currency. For collectors, this historical aspect makes the coin even more fascinating, as it offers a glimpse into the challenges and decisions faced by the Mint during that era. So, why is the 1984 penny worth $163,000? It's not just about the rarity or the minting error, it's a combination of factors that make it an extremely desirable piece for collectors. From the rarity of the double-die obverse error to the perfect condition of the coin, its historical context, and its continued role in the growing numismatic market. The 1984 penny is a prime example of how even the smallest and most seemingly insignificant coins can hold extraordinary value. As we come to the end of this journey through the world of the 1984 penny, it's important to remember that value is often about much more than what meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just starting to dip your toes into the world of numismatics, it's a reminder that the most unassuming objects might just be hiding something extraordinary. That penny you find in your pocket, in the bottom of your purse, or stuck between your couch cushions, could it be the next big find? Take a moment to look at your coins differently. Who knows? You might just stumble upon a piece of history that's worth far more than you ever imagined. So, as we finish, remember, in the world of coin collecting, sometimes a penny can be worth far more than a penny, and in the case of the 1984 double-die penny, it can be worth $163,000. Keep searching, and you just might be the next lucky collector to uncover a hidden treasure. Welcome to today's video, where we're diving deep into the fascinating story behind one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in U.S. numismatics, the 1979 USA 1-dime penny. Now, I know what you might be thinking, a penny and a dime? How could they be related? Well, stick around, because this little coin has a history and a mystery that might just surprise you. Our journey begins in 1979, a year marked by numerous events both in the United States and around the world. The 1970s were a decade of change, a time when technology was advancing rapidly, and the world was adapting to a new political, economic, and social climate. In the United States, the inflation rate was high, and the country was grappling with challenges related to its economy, including the oil crisis, which made everyday life more difficult for Americans. Now, amid all the chaos and change of that year, the U.S. Mint was hard at work producing millions of coins, including the dime, that trusty 10-cent piece we all know so well. The 1979 dime is part of the Roosevelt Dime series, a series that was introduced back in 1946, just after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. The Mint chose Roosevelt to honor his contributions during World War II and his role in shaping the modern U.S. economy. Since then, Roosevelt's likeness has appeared on the obverse, that's the head side of the dime, while on the reverse we see a torch, olive branch, and oak branch, which together symbolize unity, peace, and strength. But today, we're not here to discuss the history of the Roosevelt dime in general. We're focusing on one specific coin, the 1979 D. Why this particular year? What makes the 1979 D so special, you might ask? Well, that's where the story takes an interesting turn. First, let's talk about the coin's design and minting process. The 1979 D was minted at the Denver Mint, which is represented by the D Mint mark. At first glance, this coin seems pretty standard. It's made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, which is the same material that was used for most dimes from 1965 onward. Weighing in at just 2.27 grams and with a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, it's the same size and weight as all the other dimes minted during the series. However, it's important to note that in 1979, the U.S. Mint made a major change to the design of its coins. The Mint had begun producing large numbers of coins to meet the demand, and with these massive production runs, a few errors slipped through the cracks. The error that made the 1979 D so legendary was a very rare and unique one. The 1979 D dime is known for its double die error. This is where the coin's design was unintentionally struck twice, causing the date and the lettering on the coin to appear doubled. You might think that a small mistake like this would go unnoticed, but in the world of numismatics, this error is like a golden ticket. The double die error occurs when the coin is struck multiple times in the same position, leading to a ghost-like doubling of the design elements. For the 1979 D, this meant that the date, 1979, and the letter D from the mint mark became doubled. On close inspection, you can clearly see the effect on the coin, making it appear as though the number 9 has a distinct second layer right next to it, and the mint mark, D, appears to have two overlapping impressions. It's a subtle error at first glance, but it's incredibly rare and highly sought after by collectors. But let's pause for a moment to understand why this error even occurred. Back then, coin dies, the engraved stamps used to strike coins, were made by hand, and sometimes they were imperfect. The 1979 D dime was struck using a die that had been misaligned during the minting process, which is what caused the double strike. Because the error was so subtle, most people didn't notice it when the coins were being circulated. In fact, the vast majority of 1979 D dimes are perfectly normal, with no doubling whatsoever. So what does that mean for collectors? It means that the 1979 D dime with the double die error is incredibly rare and highly valuable. It's a treasure for coin enthusiasts who are always on the lookout for that one special piece to add to their collections. In fact, finding a 1979 D double die dime is like discovering a hidden gem, a coin that carries not only historical significance but also potential financial rewards. The rarity of the 1979 D with the double die error is what fuels its collector appeal. Many numismatists and coin collectors dedicate their lives to finding these rare coins, and when one surfaces, it's cause for excitement. So, what happens when a 1979 D dime with this double die error is discovered? Well, that's where things get even more fascinating. Over the years, as these coins began to be recognized for their rarity, their value began to rise. In fact, there's a particularly well-known example of a 1979 D double die dime that has become one of the most sought-after coins in modern U.S. numismatics. This coin sold for an astounding price of $143,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right, a single dime, worth just 10 cents when it was minted, sold for over $143,000. But how did this happen? Why did a coin with such a humble face value become worth so much? Well, it all comes down to rarity, demand, and the incredible uniqueness of this particular minting error. The double die error is so rare that it creates a sense of urgency among collectors to secure a specimen for their collections, which drives up the price. Over the years, fewer and fewer of these coins have been discovered, making them even more valuable as time goes on. For collectors, the thrill of finding such a coin is almost indescribable. It's like stumbling upon a historical artifact, something that ties together the past and the present. But for the lucky individuals who have managed to find and sell a 1979 D dime with the double die error, the payoff has been nothing short of extraordinary. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have one of these rare 1979 D dimes? If you're lucky enough to have one in your collection, the first thing to look for is the doubling. As I mentioned before, the most noticeable feature of the 1979 D double die error is the doubling of the 1979 date and the mint mark D. The subtle, but if you inspect the coin closely under good lighting, you should be able to spot the doubling effect. Look for extra, faint lines around the numbers and letters, as they will give you the telltale sign of the error. If you're unsure about whether your coin is the real deal, don't worry. There are plenty of resources available to help you authenticate your find, including coin experts, reputable dealers, and online forums where collectors gather to share their knowledge. If you believe you've found a 1979 D with the double die error, you can even have it graded by a professional service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These grading services will evaluate the coin's condition and provide a certification that can help determine its value. And here's where the story really gets exciting. The 1979 D double die dime isn't just a rare coin. It's one that could potentially fetch a life-changing amount of money. When we look at the historical auction results, the $143,000 sale of one particular 1979 D dime serves as a clear indicator of just how valuable these coins have become. The buyer of that coin wasn't just purchasing a dime. They were investing in a piece of history, a rare and valuable artifact that would become a cornerstone of their collection. So, whether you're an avid collector, a curious numismatist, or someone who's just stumbled upon this coin by chance, the 1979 D USA 1 dime penny with the double die error is a fascinating piece of history and a potentially priceless treasure. To sum up, what started as an ordinary 1979 D dime minted at the Denver Mint has become one of the most coveted coins in the world, thanks to its unique and rare error. Whether you found one in your pocket change or you're just learning about it for the first time today, one thing is for sure, the 1979 D double die dime is a coin that continues to captivate and intrigue collectors, investors, and historians alike. With its incredible value, rich history, and the thrill of the hunt, it's no wonder this dime remains one of the most famous coins in American numismatics. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the story of the 1979 D USA 1 dime penny. If you enjoyed this deep dive into numismatics and want to learn more about rare coins, history, and the fascinating world of coin collecting, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our future content. Until next time, keep looking through your change. You never know what hidden treasures you might find. Now that we've uncovered the historical significance and rare minting error behind the 1960 double die penny, let's take a closer look at the legacy this coin has built for itself over the years. From the moment it was minted to its discovery and eventual rise to fame in the numismatic world, the 1960 penny has become more than just a coin. It's a symbol of how even the smallest imperfections can lead to extraordinary value. For a collector, The thrill of the hunt is what makes coin collecting so exhilarating. And in the case of the 1960 double die penny, it wasn't just about having a rare coin, it was about finding a coin that told a unique story. When news broke about this particular error, collectors began scouring coin dealers, attending coin shows, and, most importantly, carefully examining every 1960 penny they could find. At first, it seemed like a simple curiosity, but as time passed, those who were lucky enough to stumble upon one of these misprints began to realize its immense worth. In the early days of coin collecting, numismatists didn't have the sophisticated tools and resources we have today to analyze coins in such detail. The internet wasn't around to share information at the click of a button, and word of mouth was the primary source of knowledge for collectors. But when the 1960 double die penny began to attract attention, the numismatic community exploded with excitement. It wasn't just about finding one, it was about the chase, the thrill of discovering something that no one had noticed before. As these coins began to surface in greater numbers, the U.S. Mint and professional grading services took notice. In the 1980s, the first high-quality examples of the 1960 double die penny began to be graded by organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These grading services played a crucial role in determining the true value of the coin. A penny that once might have been worth just 1 cent could now be worth thousands, if it was in good condition. But what does good condition mean when it comes to a coin like this? Coins are graded based on a scale that measures their appearance, from the amount of wear on the surface to the clarity of the design. A coin that has been worn down through years of circulation will receive a lower grade, which means it's worth less to collectors. On the other hand, a coin that is nearly flawless, one that has been carefully preserved and remains in pristine condition, will receive a much higher grade and command a much higher price. And that's where the real excitement comes into play. As more 1960 double die pennies were found and submitted to grading services, some of the specimens earned the coveted mint state grade, indicating that they had been kept in exceptional condition. These coins are the ones that collectors dream of finding. In fact, the highest grade examples of the 1960 double die penny can sell for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, if they're lucky enough to find their way into the right hands. But there's more to this story than just the value of the coin itself. The 1960 double die penny represents a shift in the world of coin collecting, a shift from simply appreciating coins for their historical significance to valuing them for their rarity and the stories they tell. Coins, after all, are not just pieces of metal. They're pieces of history. They carry with them the stories of the people, events, and moments that shaped the world. And in the case of the 1960 penny, that story is one of mystery, intrigue, and incredible value. Imagine for a moment the journey this coin has taken. From its creation in the bustling minting facilities of the U.S. Mint to its unintended error, from its circulation as a mundane penny to its eventual discovery as a rare and valuable artifact. This coin has a history that stretches across decades. And through it all, the 1960 double die penny has come to represent more than just a collectible. It's a symbol of the importance of paying attention to the smallest details, of recognizing the hidden potential in even the most ordinary of objects, and of understanding how history can sometimes take the most unexpected of turns. Now, you may be wondering how one of these rare pennies could end up with such a high value. What exactly makes the 1960 double die penny worth so much? As we mentioned earlier, the error itself, a misalignment in the die that caused the doubling effect, is incredibly rare. The U.S. Mint produces millions of coins each year, but only a handful of these double die pennies were ever struck in 1960. Out of the billions of pennies made that year, only a few made it through the minting process with this flaw. As a result, finding one in good condition is a stroke of luck, which is why the value of these coins continues to rise. But beyond the rarity of the error itself, the true value of the 1960 double die penny comes from its status as a coveted piece of American numismatic history. Coin collectors and investors alike are always looking for the next big find, and the 1960 double die penny represents just that, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that has captured the imagination of coin enthusiasts around the world. Whether it's a seasoned collector or a newcomer to the hobby, the allure of the 1960 double die penny is undeniable. In addition to its rarity and historical significance, the 1960 double die penny is also a symbol of the incredible value that can be found in the world of coin collecting. Many people assume that coins are only worth their face value, but as we've seen with this penny, that couldn't be further from the truth. The world of numismatics is filled with hidden treasures, coins that may seem ordinary at first glance but are worth far more than anyone could imagine. For those who have been following the numismatic market closely, it's no secret that the value of rare coins has been steadily increasing in recent years. The 1960 double-die penny, once just a curiosity among collectors, is now considered one of the most valuable coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. And while the chances of finding one in your pocket change may be slim, the excitement and thrill of discovering something truly extraordinary never goes away, so let's return to the big question. What makes a 1960 double-die penny worth nearly $189,000? Well, it all comes down to its rarity, condition, and historical significance. As the years go by, fewer and fewer examples of this remarkable coin are being found, and those that remain in circulation are often in less than ideal condition. The ones that have been preserved in excellent shape are now highly sought after by collectors and investors, pushing their value to extraordinary heights. In the world of numismatics, a coin like the 1960 double-die penny is not just a piece of currency. It's a treasure, a piece of history, and an investment that has stood the test of time. If you've enjoyed learning about the 1960 double-die penny, or if this has inspired you to take a closer look at your own coin collection, remember, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. The next rare find could be waiting for you in your spare change. And who knows, you might just be holding on to the next big fortune. Happy hunting, and thanks for joining me on this exciting journey through one of the most fascinating chapters in the history of American coins.